Hello, everybody. Can you see me and hear me? Hi. All right, let's give it a few seconds to let some other people get on. I know some people are still working and are going to be watching this later. So we'll give it a few minutes. Thank you so much for coming this morning. We're doing things a little bit differently these days. So normally we have these seminars at Salt of the Earth here in Sarasota, and we do them in person, and it's really fun. And so I'm happy that I'm able to bring it to you a little bit differently, but still get you some good information and get some good healing going on. Okay, so before we get started, I wanted to get to a little housekeeping. I am going to be recording the webinar so people can review it later, and there'll be a replay. So if you have questions or comments that are a little bit personal, I want you to just email me afterwards, and we can discuss those things. So everything's going to be recorded, and there is a chat box, which I see that some of you have found to the right of your screen. And normally when I do these seminars, there's a lot of back and forth. We're talking and answering a lot of questions. And so if you have questions, there's a chat box and there's also a question area on the bottom. So I'm going to try to be staying up to date with those as I talk, because I want this to be interactive. I want you guys to really get the information that you need out of this. So please feel free to use that. If I don't answer everything right away, I'll definitely get back to you after the webinar. So let's go ahead and get started. So right now, do you guys see the slides and then me in the corner? Can someone just write in the chat? Yes. Okay, great. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Rhoads. I am an acupuncture physician and Chinese herbalist based out of Sarasota, Florida. I have my own practice called Rhoads to Health Acupuncture. And right now, along with most of you, I am self-isolating at home, and we're starting to get a little itchy to get back in the clinic, because I know if you're some of my patients or if you're receiving acupuncture treatment, around this time is starting when you're going to start to really feel that space between the treatments, because most people were treating you once a week with acupuncture. So I know it's really difficult for a lot of you right now because we can't get in and do those treatments. So I was thinking about what I'm hearing that most people need, and there's a lot of stress and anxiety going around, especially of course, with the current events, and some of you may have anxiety on a daily basis before any of this started. So, why I'm kind of bundling the stress and anxiety together is not that they're exactly the same, because we know if you just have a little bit of stress or if you're having full blown anxiety and panic attacks, it's very different. But at the end of the day, we're still trying to balance the same things with Chinese medicine. So, we want to really balance the qi dynamic in the body, and from a Western medicine perspective, balance the autonomic nervous system. So bundling these things together, the treatments that I can offer you at home are going to be very similar. So wherever you are on that scale, we're going to be able to get you some good information today that you can start incorporating into your daily life. Most of the time when we do seminars, I'm talking a lot about acupuncture and Chinese herbs and diet, and things that I can help you with when we're in the clinic doing acupuncture treatments. And today I really want to focus, this is all about you. This is empowering you to take control of your own health and things that you can do at home right now using the basis of traditional Chinese medicine, but using either using acupressure or diet and lifestyle changes. So this is all about you and what you guys can do from home. So let's see here. I'm going to move on to the next slide. Before I get into talking about the different organ systems that you see on slide right now, I want to touch base a little bit on the autonomic nervous system, because when we're talking about stress and anxiety, we have to talk about the autonomic nervous system. And I know if you're one of my patients, you're probably sick of me talking about it, because we're always talking about this balance between the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're going to touch base on that a little bit because it's so important. So the sympathetic nervous system is what most of us know is like our fight or flight response. So this is the stress response in the body. When you're being chased by a tiger, hopefully that's not happened in your lifetime, but in that mode, your body's going to shift into that sympathetic response. So our body is in a fear response. It's running away from something, it's stressed, it's scared, and that's unfortunately the part of the autonomic nervous system that we get in when we're stressed or we're feeling anxious. So that sympathetic nervous system is the one that we need to try to bring down. So we can do that by balancing out with the parasympathetic. So our sympathetic is that fight or flight. The parasympathetic is that rest and digest and the healing part of the nervous system. So it's kind of always a balance. So there's a scale. So if the sympathetic nervous system is up, then the parasympathetic is down here. But if we can bring this down and that levels it out, then the parasympathetic part of the nervous system can really take over. And that's when we're going to be able to heal and feeling restful and feeling relaxed. So everything that we're going to be talking about today with the things you can do at home is going to be trying to balance out that nervous system and get you in that restful, parasympathetic, healing part of your nervous system. So that's more the Western idea of like what we're doing, trying to create that balance. And in traditional Chinese medicine, we're really going to look at the qi dynamic in the body. So the qi is just this life force energy that is always flowing throughout our body. We talk about it, it's in different organ systems, there's different types of qi. But the main thing we want to focus on today is that, okay, so if you're having like a headache, or if you're feeling stressed and you get this rush of energy through your head, the qi dynamic is going up. And that can cause all those anxiety symptoms to get worse. So you might start having palpitations, shortness of breath, tightness in your chest. You might get a little bit dizzy. And all that is that qi dynamic is going up to your head. So what we're going to be going over today is how to redirect that qi. Because even if you're having these different emotions, let's say if you're feeling fearful or if you're feeling anxious or worried, you can look on the screen now about the different, these are the five main elements and organ systems in the body that we talk about. And this is a Chinese medicine model. So it's not your actual physical heart, it's not your actual physical spleen when we're talking about the organs. It's more these Chinese medicine systems in the body. So when all the energy is going up, we need to bring it down. And so by balancing these out, we are going to be able to help you get into that more relaxed state. And I know a lot of you are probably going to want to dive deeper into the different organ systems because I know I've talked to some of you about. Oh, I hear my voice is fading in and out. Let's see. Is it getting any better? Maybe I need to put this a little bit higher to hold it. Okay, great. All right, thanks everybody. Okay, so I know we can dive into these five elements and spend a really long time getting into it, but I really just want to get into things that you can start doing right now to help manage the stress and anxiety. So let's move on here. Okay, so when we're talking about the Western medicine system, the Chinese medicine system, it's all the same in the senses that we're trying to create balance. So I want this idea of balance to go with you through everything that you're doing throughout the day. And what's kind of unusual right now is that most people are at home, or if you're working from home, or you're working in a little bit more stressful environment. So trying to find a balance throughout your day is going to be extremely important. And the first thing that I want you to do is, if you haven't done it already, try to figure out a schedule for yourself. So this means maintaining what time you wake up, what time you're going to sleep, because starting with those, then you can fill your day in. So let's say those of you that are working from home right now, I really want you to focus on getting up at a certain time, making sure you're showered, get dressed, and when it's time to start the workday, I want you to block off that schedule and say, okay, I'm going to work from 9 to 12, like your normal or whatever your normal workday hour is before lunch. So I want you to do that. And I don't want you multitasking while you're doing those things, because when you're creating a schedule, we need to be like focused on what we're doing, because right now it's so easy for everything to get muddled into each other. So if we're trying to work and then watch a little bit of TV and then we take a nap and all these things, the day can just get a little out of control. and we might not be as productive or feel good about the day that we can. So creating that schedule, if you're working at home or if you're not working right now, waking up, figuring out like what type of exercise you need to be doing throughout the day. And I know that that's very it's very difficult for a lot of people because you might be used to going to the gym, you might be going used to going out for bike rides and runs that you might not be able to do right now. So trying to find those different exercises that you can do from home, whether it be watching YouTube videos of doing yoga classes or your favorite workout class that's transitioned online. I want you to find something every day to fit into your schedule. To say, okay, if you're a morning exercise person, get up, do your workout, start like get dressed, start your day, and at least get that in because moving your body is really going to help that chi dynamic and to get the chi flowing in your body so you're not feeling pent up, which is adding to more stress. And even when you're looking at that schedule that you're making for yourself, I don't want you to overwhelm yourself by taking every single minute of the day and planning it out. I want you to look like big picture and schedule things out in blocks because we want to make sure that you're also getting your time to rest and adding that time in to be just say this is an hour that I'm going to take for myself. So either I'm going to read a book, I'm going to take a nap, I'm going to go for a walk if you're able to do that right now, scheduling in that time to give yourself a little flexibility and be able to be a little creative in that time too because right now there's so much stress and focus on if you're trying to change your business around, if you're trying to figure out how to work from home or changing your schedule from just your normal. We need to find that time that you can just sit and be still and get a little creative and think about some good enjoyable things. So plan in those rest times, and of course if possible, if you can get out and get a little nature right now, that would be so wonderful. I know many of you are stuck in apartments or houses that you don't necessarily have a backyard or somewhere that it's safe for you to go out and be, exploring nature right now. But if you can get a little fresh air, it's going to be really important to our mental health right now. So, like I said before, when you're looking at the schedule, I want to really enforce the idea that you're really taking care of your sleep because we know that sleep is so important for our overall immunity, for our stress, and just keeping us balanced throughout the day and giving us really good energy. So, maintaining those sleep cycles, and this is also a good time now if you are able to be home and you normally have an unusual work schedule to try to get that sleep in and get on a really good sleep schedule. And that's something we can talk about on an individual level because I know everyone is a little bit different in what your needs are regarding the sleep. When you're scheduling your day, I also want you to really focus on doing some meal planning because I'm hearing from a lot of my patients that you're getting stuck in the house and you're eating junk food and you're going for the candy and the chips. And I know that a lot of us have a tendency to do stress eating, and we need to just figure out how to stop that right away because this is a very slippery slope, as I know you all know. So the main thing is going to be really focusing on healthy, nourishing foods that's going to give your body something good. If it's not giving you something good, like why are we putting it in your body? So if you and also this goes to if you have kids in the house, we don't want everybody just eating junk food and sugar all day. So my best tip right now is to not have it in the house. And even if you're someone who you say, oh, well, I like to just have a little bit of ice cream at night, it's gonna be one of those times that we need to just probably eliminate it from the diet because if you're home more and you're feeling stressed and then you're reaching for that ice cream, it's not gonna be good. So I want your body to be so healthy and energized right now. I need you to focus on a really good diet. And we can get into more specifics with the specific diets that you need for your different organ system patterns. We can do that on an individual basis, but overall, try to cut out that sugar, cut out that junk food. Don't order it the next time you're doing any food deliveries or if you're going to the grocery store. Just don't even have it in the house because if it's there, you're most likely going to eat it. And so, with this physical distancing that we're doing right now. It's so important to stay connected socially. And so if you are feeling a little bit lonely, if you're feeling a little bit down on things, I want you to reach out to your friends and families and find a network of people that you can really reach out to during these times, because it's really important to stay connected even though we're physically distanced right now. So we talked a little bit about cutting out the sugar and the junk food. And the big thing I want to talk about is the screen time. Right now, we are all glued to our screens. Even right now, we have to do this via our computers or our phones, whatever you're on right now. And it's really important that we realize how overwhelming this can be. If we're on the computer all day, if we're reading the news, if we're, watching the news, watching shows all day, it can be very overwhelming for our health, and it's just not something we need to be doing. So I want you to be staying informed with the news and the updates on things. But if we can limit that throughout the day and make sure you're taking time that is completely away from the computer, leave your phone inside if you can, go for a walk if it's possible for you, or just taking an hour a day that you're turning everything off and just reading or playing some games, doing some other different activities, because we're getting very overwhelmed right now with all of the screen time. Okay, so I'm going to get in now. I'm going to see if I can move my picture so you can see the bottom. It's okay. All right. So one of the main things, now we're going to get into the physical things that you can do to move the chi and make changes in your body. We know how important positive thinking is, changing your mentality and using mantras. I'm sure you've all have learned a little bit about this before, but today I want to focus about how we can physically change our our chi dynamic in the body. So the first one is, this is one of my favorite breathing exercises because it's really easy. You can do it anywhere. So basically, as you can see on the screen, it's a 4-2-6 breathing technique. So I want you to breathe in for 4. You're going to count. Breathe in for 4, hold for 2 seconds, and then exhale for 6. So let's do this once together. I can't see all of you. Okay, so find a comfortable spot. I want you to close your eyes. Take a few just kind of natural breaths. Okay. So then I want you to inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 5, 6. And then breathe out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it helps to count the numbers when you're doing this breath work, because sometimes if we're trying to just sit quietly and if you're doing meditation or trying to just get a breath in, it can be overwhelming if you're feeling really anxious. So when we're focusing on the numbers and counting, that gives your mind something to focus on while we're changing that physiology in the breathing. So this is something that I want you to do throughout the day. So this is something I want you to do at least 3 times a day. And when you're doing this breath work, you can do about 3 or 4 rounds, or you can go as long as you want. But usually when you do 3 or 4 rounds, you can feel a big difference, like shift in your energy. And this is something that's going to be very helpful in those moments that if you start feeling a little overwhelmed with things, just sit there, do a little breath work. If you're having difficulty sleeping, this is a great exercise to do right before sleep. You can do it lying down, you can do it seated. And if you want to add a little bit more, you can put one of your hands on your chest and then the other one on your lower abdomen. And the idea for this is that we really want you to be breathing deeply. So I want you to feel this hand on your abdomen moving up, but I want you to keep your chest quiet. So I don't want us breathing like right from our chest, which we tend to do when we're starting to feel a little stressed and anxious. So that deep breath is going to really help ground you and relax you through the day. Okay. So I know some of you are my patients and you're taking your Chinese herbs right now, which are really great. And we might have you on specific herbs to treat stress and anxiety or whatever your underlying pattern is. So I wanted to bring you things that you could do right now at home, since if you don't have your Chinese herbs, or if you don't have your access to your normal teas that you use, these are 2 teas that are very calming. to the body that most people might have easy access to. So peppermint tea is very cooling to the body. It soothes the liver chi, which if we've talked a little bit before, the liver chi is the one that gets stagnant when we're stressed and we might feel a little irritable, we might feel a little agitated. So this peppermint tea, just seeping it in like a normal hot water infusion with a little tea bag and sipping on it throughout the day, or creating a little routine with it. So let's see if you're going to take a tea break at 2 o'clock. So you know you get up, you make your tea, and that's your quiet time to just drink a little tea and get calm. And I'm going to try to move my screen because I think that you can't see the bottom. Okay, so if you want to add some fun things into the teas, the peppermint or the chamomile, which are both very soothing to the liver and calming to the body, you can add a little bit of honey, a little good bit of goji berries, or a little bit of dates. Those three herbs in Chinese medicine are very nourishing to the body. So if you're feeling a little bit anxious in the sense of you feeling overwhelmed and you're a little bit more cryy and you feel like weepy and just very like deficient and very fatigued, adding the honey, the goji berries, and the dates are going to help nourish your body even more. So try those teas if you have them at home. They're really wonderful. So just a couple little quick self-care stuff before we get into the acupressure points is making sure you're scheduling in these times like we talked about before, when you're trying to find that balance between trying to work, trying to be productive, trying to get your exercise in. Do some things that are very uplifting right now. So if you really love music, I want you to listen to some music. If you like playing music, get out your instruments and play a little bit. And moving our bodies and using our hands and working with something, either a craft or being creative and creating things, this is going to make the time go a lot easier throughout the day, and also give something positive to some of the pent up energy that you might be feeling. And another really good tip for that stress and anxiety is foot soaks. This is like kind of a secret thing that's very easy, but we take for granted that any of us can do it all the time. So with the foot soaks, you can either take warm water, you can do it in a bathtub, or take some sort of like bucket and get warm water, either Epsom salt or just water. And especially if you're starting to feel anxiety creeping upwards, I really want you to do these foot soaks. It's going to ground you. It's going to pull all your energy down from a Chinese medicine perspective. And that's going to help you feel so much better and more relaxed. And this is something you can do every night before bed. This is a huge tool that I use for my insomnia patients. And if you happen to have oils at home, you can use a little bit of lavender, use a little bit of peppermint to really help soothe the body. So these are the things that we're talking about right now. These are easy things that we know we can do. But what's so important is that in these modes, sometimes when we're feeling stressed, when we're starting to feel a little bit anxious, we forget to do these simple things. So, but don't forget how important and how these little things add up, and they really make a huge difference. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can put you so you can see me a little bit again. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get into now. I put together 2 sets of acupressure protocols for you. And this is gonna be something that you may be a little bit familiar with if you're coming in and getting acupuncture. Acupuncture points in the body all have specific individual functions. And these points that I picked are really important and very powerful points that we can use for relieving stress and anxiety. And so what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be locating the points, which I'll show you where they are, and you can apply a deep, even pressure to the point, depending on where it is. The points that are kind of on the legs or the arms, I want you to just hold, or you can massage in a circle. And you can do this for like 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And you can do these in rounds. So I'll show you the first set. You can do, each set has 3 in them. So you can do 1 point at a time and rotate, and then do the other side of the body. And you can rotate these sets as much as you want throughout the day. But it's best if you can do it at least like 3 times at a time, three rounds at a time. So I'm just going to get into this because I don't want to take too much of everybody's time. And let's get into it. Okay, so these are the 2 protocols that we're going to be talking about. So This first protocol is going to be more calming to the body. So this is when, if you're just feeling a little bit of stress and you just need to feel like you're going to calm down, this point right here is called yin tong. It's right in between the eyebrows. It's one of our favorite points to calm the shin in Chinese medicine. And when we say calm the shin, it's really just calming the mind down, getting your body into that parasympathetic nervous system state, and just really balancing out that chi dynamic in the body that we're talking about. So this point, instead of like a deep pressure, I like to do a thumb over thumb, like rolling. So you can put your index fingers kind of on the crown of your head here, and then just gently do like sweeping upward movements on this point. This point is really great. You can actually do this on your kids if you have any young ones at home, or even on your pets. It's a really great point. And remember, right now, we're really washing our hands really well. So before you're touching your face, I want you to make sure you're washing your hands. This point, does anyone have any questions about this point? I'm going to look over in the chat for a second. This one is usually a pretty easy one for you to find. And you can feel these calming effects almost instantly with this. Okay, great. All right. So once you're at yin tong, then I want you to move down to Ren 17, which, as you can see in the picture, is right in the center of the chest. If you want to count down, you can feel the spaces between your ribs, and you can count down 4 spaces and then come to the center of your chest. This one you can use the tips of your fingers like this, or you could put your the heel of your hand on your chest. And this one, it feels really good if you're doing it in circular motions. So this point is one of the best points to open up the chest. If you're feeling anxious and you're feeling tightness in your chest or starting to get palpitations, this is one of you're going to be your go-to points. A lot of times our chi gets stuck in the chest, and that's what's causing some of the anxiety to stick with us. So we're going to start with yin tong, then we're going to go to Ren 17. And I will make sure that I send you this information too, so you'll know where these points are afterwards. Okay, yin tong, Ren 17 in the chest, and then I want you to come down to this point. It's called pericardium 6. And how you located it, it's on the inside of your wrist. I want you to take 3 fingers and go 3 fingers down, and then right under that third finger, in between those tendons, is where that point is. And this one is nice to do like a nice gentle pressure or like a circled with. And this one is another great point for anxiety, obviously, because this is what we're talking about today. And it's also one of the main points that we use with motion sickness, morning sickness, any of that nausea that's especially related to anxiety. So if you get anxious and you realize your stomach is a little bit uneasy, working on this point is going to soothe that anxiety and help soothe your stomach too and any of that nausea. Okay. Li4, this is starting the second set. So the first set, we're doing yin tong, Ren 17 in the middle of the chest, and then PC6, which you take your 3 fingers and measure down. So those 3 points I want you to do in a sequence together. They're really calming to the body. These next 3 points are calming to the body, but in a different way. These points are going to be moving a lot. So sometimes when we're feeling stressed, we might start feeling a little agitated or irritable, and that goes back to that liver chi stagnation. So these next 3 points that I'm going to show you are really helpful for regulating the chi and moving that stagnation. So if you're feeling a little anxious and irritable, these are the points I want you to go to. So this first one is really easy to find. It's on the hand. So this is also somewhere you could do pretty much anywhere. And you're going to go in between these 2 fingers and then midway between the web. And if you press in, it'll probably be a little tender. And that's what you'll find with a lot of these acupressure points, is that when you press on them, they'll be a little sore. And that's good. That means that you're on the right point. So this one is right here. You can use your finger to press on. And if you are pregnant right now, this point is very moving. So we don't use it if someone is pregnant because it's so moving. If you're having headaches, this is one of the best points that we can do for acupressure for headaches. Okay. Liver 3. This is some of my patients' favorite points, not because it feels great being needled, but it's because it works so well. So this one is on the top of your foot. So if you see in the picture here, it's in between the big toe and then the next toe, and you're going to go about halfway through and you're gonna use your finger like this. If you're pretending this is your foot right now, if this is your big toe, you can move your finger up, and I want you to feel that little crease. You'll feel a little triangle where your body will just those bones will be there, and you'll just kind of your finger will fall into it. That's where that point is on your foot. And I want you to press on it. It's usually really sensitive, and this is one of the best points to move that liver chi in the body and help calm you down, help that any of that agitation or that pent up energy. Okay, so far we have liver, large intestine 4, liver 3 on the foot, and then kidney 1 is a very grounding point. So this is on the bottom of your foot, and you can kind of see in this picture up with the flesh colored foot. It's right underneath the toes. You follow your toes down, and right under the ball of your foot, you're going to feel for that point. And this one you can actually use when you're doing the previous point. So if you're doing, I'm going to go back for a second so you can see this. So if you're doing liver 3 with one of your fingers, you can actually then wrap your thumb around and hit this kidney 1 point at the same time. So these 2 points you can actually do together. These points will really ground you. So if you're starting to get a little dizzy or feeling a little heady, like all the energy is kind of rushing up, I want you to ground yourself in the bottom of your feet with this kidney 1 point. And this is one of the points that we activate when we're doing those warm, hot foot soaks. This is one of the points that we're really focusing on, like draining that energy out and grounding you. Okay. So with the acupressure that you just did, we did 2 sets. So the first one, which is the yin tong, and then the Ren 17, the center of the chest, and then the PC6. These are going to be just kind of calming and nourishing points. In that last set, which is the one in the hand, LI4, and the 2 on the foot, liver 3 and kidney 1, those are going to be very grounding and regulating that liver chi. So if you're starting to feel a little agitated, those are the ones that I want you to focus on. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we can do with just the acupressure and using the schedule and focusing on making these lifestyle changes and balancing out your schedule and making sure that you're getting all of your needs met within the day. Some of the other things I wanted to show you are things that I can help get you connected with via our telemedicine visits. And the first one is these Dao Lab herbs are one of my favorite herbs right now because they're very user friendly and they actually taste really good, which is shocking for Chinese medicine. And these herbs, there's 2 specific formulas. One is called emotional balance, and this one is very helpful for stress and anxiety. And the other one is one of their sleep formulas called mental tranquility. And this sleep formula is really great if you're staying up at night because your mind is busy, if you're feeling anxious. These 2 formulas are some of my favorite formulas right now for if we're talking about stress and anxiety. And of course, if you're one of my patients or you know about traditional Chinese medicine, you know that we do a lot of individualized, like custom herbal formulas. So I can still do that via telemedicine. I just wanted to remind you that we have those herbs as well. And I think on the bottom, you might be able to see, I think it might say offers, and those that has the links to the herbs too. I encourage you to reach out to me via email if you're interested in some of the herbs, because we can see what fits you best. I didn't go into too much of the ear acupressure because that's a whole nother few hours I could talk about. And if you are some of my patients or you know about acupressure and the ear acupressure, the ear is a little microsystem of the body. So a lot of the times we use these what we call ear seeds to treat the body. And they're just little stickers. And on the back, they either have a little gold ball or they have an actual seed. And that applies pressure to the point. So similar to the acupressure that I just taught you that you're using your hands, these apply pressure to the certain seeds. And I can show you some of them. I don't know if you can see this. I have some on my ear right now, and these are just to treat like stress and anxiety. And these are little crystals. So we have some that are the Swarovski crystals. So I wanted to show you these ear seed condition kits. Normally, you know that I always want you coming to me and for me to put the ear acupressure on so we can get accurate treatments. But right now we're trying to figure out like how I can get you the best treatments possible from being home. So if you're interested in the ear seeds, we can actually get you connected to get some kits that you can do at home, and there's a couple kits that are condition specific. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling like you're having issues with sleep, we can get you specific kits that has charts and can show you where the ear points are, and you can do them at home. So that's something I've been working with some of my patients with telemedicine, and it's been really fun so far. So, in summary, because I know I talked too much already and there's so much more we can talk about, this is just kind of getting the tip of the iceberg. And I wanted to give you some tips to get started on things you could do at home. So, remember to keep your schedule balanced. And if you haven't created a schedule for yourself, I want you to really start doing that today. Work on that breath work technique, that 4-2-6. It's really easy to do. And once you start doing it more, you'll get more comfortable with it. And I want you to remind you to try those teas, the peppermint and the chamomile, if you don't have any Chinese herbs at home and you need a little something to just get you through those moments. And of course, the acupressure protocols that you have learned today. And I wanted to remind some of you that I switched everything over to telemedicine. So I'm doing telemedicine treatments for specific herbal consults, for lifestyle, specific individualized lifestyle recommendations. Well, we can really focus on diet. There's a lot of things that I can still do for you, even though that we're not able to be physically in clinic right now. So if you have any questions, I want you to reach out to me. I think you can see my email at the bottom. I don't think I'm blocking it. So it's rhoadstohealth@gmail.com, and you can visit my website too. And I wanted to check in with you if anybody has any questions. Okay, let's see. Yes, Diana is asking about you can use them on your kids. Absolutely. I know Diana's kids are a little bit older and they're really they can definitely be used on that. Even if we're having like younger pediatric patients, can definitely use the ear seeds with them. I'm working with a lot of moms right now, figuring out different acupressure protocols and ear seed protocols like for their children because we can't get them in for treatment. So thank you, Diana. Let me see in the chat. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, good. All right. I felt like I went through things very quickly, but I wanted to try to get a lot of information in a short amount of time, and I still went a little bit over. So I am so happy that you joined me today. I hope that you got some good information. It might seem overwhelming because we went through a lot of things, but if you just take one of these things that we've talked about today and start incorporating them into your routine, it's going to be very powerful. So I encourage you to try some of the acupressure. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yes, I will send the slides out. I'll send an email afterwards with the slides so you have that information. And please contact me directly if you need anything. I miss all of you. For those I don't know you, I'd love to meet you and talk about your health and what we can do with traditional Chinese medicine. So thank you so much. I'm glad that you're liking the acupressure points. Please use them. I'm telling you, they're very powerful. Some of the patients that I've been using the acupressure protocols with the last few weeks are just floored about how powerful they are. So please try them. And if you have any questions, let me know. So good to chat with everybody today. Thank you so much. And we will talk soon. Take care.